Slate that we're starting with this year in our backyard garden. We have our trellises set up, and now it's time to plan our garden layout. So here is our garden layout when you look at each row. The back of our garden has 11 rows, and then the front, which is back towards our house, but at the bottom of the screen, has 14 rows. Then we have our trellises already set up. We have two down here at the bottom, one over here, one in the back, and then another one over here. So we have all of these trellis areas, and I'll show you what we're going to plant on those as well. Next, we have some more areas that are kind of outside of our garden, but we're going to include those. Over here we have posts. These are 3 posts that stand, and then we have 2 planters here at the bottom, and then 2 potato towers set up. These all kind of come closer to the house, and then this is on the corner of our house. We're going to include that today in part of our garden. Okay, so over here on our perimeter, I'll show you what we are planting. We've got 2 blackberries here at these posts. We have 2 blueberry bushes. Our potato towers are going to have sweet potatoes and then like a regular white potato. The 2 planters, we're going to grow carrots. We got some colorful carrots and then just like a normal carrot. And then these 2 are trees. We got 2 nectarine trees that we planted in the fall. So don't know if we'll get anything off those this year, but we do have those included in our garden view. Next, we're going to start in our garden with something super colorful that I am the most excited about, and that is our gigantic pumpkin patch in the back of the garden. So this is down away from the house, the farthest away from the house, and we have just a huge area to plant tons of pumpkins. Pumpkin plants get ginormous, so we're going to try to keep these together, keep them, hopefully growing well, and plant as many pumpkins as we can pack into this small space. So the garden looks really cool on this sheet. It's not exactly to scale, so the number of rows is right, but this may not be exactly how many plants we plant per row. This is just an idea, a colorful idea of how the layout is going to look and where we're going to put each thing. So starting here on the left, we have this first trellis. We're going to grow our loofah plants on it and let those dry out and have some loofah sponges. We have 2 rows for Big Max pumpkins. We've had good success with those. This will be our 5th year planting pumpkins. So we're really excited. We just love pumpkins. They're magical to watch grow. Then we've got some green that you've probably seen at like pumpkin patch before. We have some yellow pumpkins, some gourds. I've got 2 rows of these fairy tale pumpkins because they are gorgeous and I want as many of those as possible. We have 2 different sections of just jack-o'-lanterns, just a traditional orange pumpkin, a whole row for polar bear white pumpkins. Then we have a row also of Indian corn, which we're going to let dry and be decorative. Then we have our section here for mini pumpkins, and we also have a trellis that you can see kind of in the video before this that shows the garden, but it is very tall, like over 6 feet tall, and so have pumpkins growing up it in the front, and then you can walk around the back and kind of stand under the pumpkins. It should look really cool with the mini pumpkins growing on it. So coming up next are our vegetables, tomatoes, and those kind of things. So let's take a look at what we have here. We're going to start over on the left again. These first 3 rows are closer together just because they're vertical plants. They're not going to really bush out or anything. So we have 2 rows of corn, and we will probably plant those maybe 2 times, hopefully. But we love corn, so this is going to be just for our family. Then we're going to have a whole row of okra. We also love to eat okra and like to share it, so we're going to have a whole row of that. On these 2 rows here, we have another trellis set up. We have already planted muscadines on these in the fall. So both of these should hopefully have some pretty grapevines growing on them in the summer. And then we're going to have this row of peppers. We're going to have poblano and jalapeno. I love jalapenos. Like will eat them every day. So I'm going to have a lot of jalapeno plants and then probably 2 or 3 poblano because we make a sauce with those that's really good that we freeze. We've got a whole row of pinto beans. That's just our family's favorite bean. And then green beans, it's a bush bean that we're going to plant. Onto our tomatoes. Another favorite thing that we love growing in our garden is tomatoes. So we have Cherokee purple tomatoes. Then we're going to have just some big, like red slicing tomatoes because we do live in Georgia and we like tomato sandwiches. And we have tangerine orange tomato. So that's a new one for us, but we're excited to try that. And then this whole section here is going to be a sauce tomato. So one of the big things that we can is tomato sauce, like crushed tomatoes, tomato sauce. We use so many tomatoes. We actually just finished our last jar of tomato sauce from our 2023 garden because we moved last year. We didn't get to put anything up last year. So it lasted us until just now our harvest from 2023 of our tomatoes. So we're going to have lots of sauce tomatoes. We make so many things with that throughout the year, but then also we got some other tomatoes so we can make some relish and some salsas. Over here on this trellis, we're going to have cherry tomatoes growing in hanging baskets hanging from this trellis. So it's cherry falls tomatoes. So a small cherry tomato. I love roasting those. They are so good roasted in the oven. And then on each side of this trellis, we're going to have a small snacking cucumber growing because I love them, but also I have a couple of kids that eat them, and we'll probably do some quick refrigerator pickles with those as well. So this is kind of our vegetable layout, what we're planning for each of these sections. And then, of course, we have down at the bottom our potatoes and carrots. Here comes another thing I'm so excited about is our cut flower area. We have done cut flowers a lot and experimented with different ones. Of course, sunflowers are one of my favorite flowers, so we always grow tons of sunflowers. I don't have any of the specific varieties. We are planting teddy bears, so you can see those are here at the bottom. And then we do tiger eye sunflowers. We've done mammoth sunflowers. I'm going to keep these in this area for cut flowers. So we're going to grow shorter varieties like the tiger eye, like the teddy bear. They're just so pretty. Then we have a whole row here of zinnias. This is going to be our first year growing those, but I'm excited to see how that goes and what it's like growing them. We have already started our eucalyptus seeds, and I'm planning to keep the eucalyptus in the back of these 2 rows. We will see how that goes. We have stock, which I like putting in arrangements. It just adds, some height to your flower arrangement. So we got pink and blue. I've got some calendula down here and some amaranth over here. So this is kind of our pretty much good plan for our flowers. We're trying some new flowers, so I hope they grow well, but I'm excited, of course, to see what we get out of this and all of the flower arrangements that I can make with these zinnias and the sunflowers. And eucalyptus is my favorite greenery. So what we'll be talking about last is companion planting. So we are trying to be really conscious about what we put in our garden, how we control the pests in our garden. And we do have issues. We're in Georgia, zone 8A, so we have to deal with, just different kinds of pests, aphids. We have hornworms on the tomatoes, squash bugs. So those kind of things, we're going to try to use some companion planting to help keep those away, and ants. So back here in the pumpkin area, like I said, this is our 5th year growing pumpkins, and we always have an issue with squash bugs later in the season. So we are going to try adding in mint and marigolds and see if that helps. The marigolds can also be used as cut flowers. The variety that we got, they're big and pretty, so pretty. So We can also use those in our cut flower arrangements, and then of course use mint for all different kinds of things. But we're going to have those planted throughout the pumpkin patch and really hoping that they will help keep some of those pests away that like to attack the squashes and the pumpkins. Then down here in the beans and the bean area, we've never really had any pest issues with peppers and corn or okra. So hopefully that will continue this year. But I did want to add sunflowers just because I want to grow as many sunflowers as possible. So I thought I could add some sunflowers in between some of the bean plants and give them a little shade maybe throughout the day if they needed it. In our tomatoes, we're definitely adding basil, marigolds, and rosemary. So basil helps with the taste of the tomatoes, the flavor you get from the tomato. And then rosemary and the marigolds are also for pests. Then over here with our carrots, I did add rosemary. I read that that was a good companion plant for your carrots to keep away the carrot fly. We've already started lots of seeds indoors. They're doing great, but a lot of this stuff will be direct sown as soon as it gets warm enough outside. We've had some cold, really cold weather this past week, and which makes me even more excited for the warm weather where we can start planting.
So even though we might have planned a little too much, I think that because of the plan we're putting together of where to put everything, it's going to be just fine. Have you ever used companion planting with your fruits or your vegetables or flowers? Let us know down in the comments so we can learn something from you as well.
Don't forget to subscribe for more weekly gardening updates. We're another week closer to getting these seedlings in the garden. See you in the next video.